Welcome to the Gatekeepers Podcast with Billy Grove, where the fence world gets real, raw, and unfiltered. Billy's not just an industry leader, he's a hands-on pro who knows what it takes to build quality fences and strong teams. So grab a cold one, settle in, and get ready for straight talk about the trade. Today's show is brought to you by Mr. Fence Academy, National Metal Industries, Gury Signs and Decals, and Orlando Hinge Company. If you're looking to hit the next level in your fence company, check out Mr. Fence Academy. Real fencers, real job sites, real training equals real results. And now, live from the Mr. Fence Academy studios, here's your host, Billy Grove.
What is going on, everybody? How is the Fence fam doing, guys? I hope you guys have had a wonderful week since we've last spoke or you've last listened to me. It's finally cooling off here a little bit, just a little bit. We had some pretty nice weather today. No humidity, so that was awesome. But we got a great show lined up for you guys. I got Mr. Kevin Orlando, the creator of the Swan Hinge, on the show. Gonna have some great talks about that. But first and foremost, before we get down to business, I do have to give a huge shout out to our sponsors who keep this thing going day in, day out, week in, week out. So first and foremost, Mr. Fence Academy, guys, if you guys are looking to up the level of your fence business, whether it be the business side or the installation side, go check out www.mrfenceacademy.com. If you guys are in the market for privacy slats, one of the biggest things I see asked on the Facebook pages besides the Swan Hinge is, where do I get privacy slats from? Go check out National Metal Industries at www.nmifence.com. He's also got like fence tools. He's got vinyl, chain link, aluminum, ornamental iron. Y'all go give it a nice big checkout. Then we have like JC Gury, guys. If you're still in the market for a fence sign for your fence after like completion, and that way you have passive marketing, go check out www.jcgury.com. Get yourself a nice Mylar laminated fence sign that's going to look good 10 years down the road. And last but not least, Orlando Hinge Company, aka the Swan Hinge, who is my guest tonight, guys. If you're still struggling with your clients wanting a double drive gate and one leaf has to swing uphill, guys, please do yourself a favor. Go check out www.swanhinge.com. They've been burning the freaking fence pages up lately, guys. I love to see it. Love to see all of the like happy customers and the finished like product videos as well. They really do work. We're going to talk about it here shortly. But y'all got to go give them a nice big checkout, www.swanhinge.com. Whew. All right, through that part. So like I said, I do have Mr. Kevin Orlando on for the first time on the video podcast. However, we did a short podcast at the Mr. Fence Academy like retreat earlier this year. So it's going to be fun to get him on the show and be able to talk back and forth, not just about the retreat, but all things fence. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get our guest on.
Hey, Billy.
Hey, man, how are you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Not very long, but it's been a couple months since we last spoke.
Yeah,
man. So, how things
are
been going?
Great. You're dealing with the heat down here, the same as I am. So, yeah,
man. I'm tired of feeling like I got into the shower after I stepped out of the door.
Yeah, first thing in the morning.
Yep. First thing in the morning.
So thank you.
We got about 2 months left of that, right?
Yeah, a little rain now, so everything's wet. So, but
yeah, everything's soaking wet.
All
so,
good.
For those who don't know you, give us a little bit about your background, who you are, and where you're out of.
Okay. So originally I was from New York, moved down to Florida in 97. Long Island. I was from Long Island. Never planned to get into the fence business. Never had it. Wasn't nothing. That all happened by accident. I did collision work, 27 years. Some in New York, some in Florida. Side note, unrelated. My grandmother worked at a fence company back in the 70s. I remember going to visit her when I was probably 5, 6 years old. Frontier Fence in Huntington, Long Island. So I remember that was, again, unrelated, but it was just kind of
Right.
like one of those little things like, wait, what? She did work at a fence company. So
Hey, that's pretty
anyway,
cool.
yeah, so it's kind of weird. So I ended up doing fencing almost about 14 years now. Totally by accident. Just doing collision work. Collision work is similar in a way where you have to figure out everything. Like every job has a situation that you
Yeah.
have to put your brain on a little bit and say, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this. Not always like cut and dry, put a period here, you're done. So
Right.
vision works the same way. You got to look at a car, they're all built different, they're all hit different. So that was kind of in my wheelhouse. So long story short, I got sick, couldn't do it anymore. My boss, also my friend Todd, if you're here, also my friend. So my shop was right next to the fence company shop, and also our girls went to elementary school together in Brownies, and they were friends and stuff. So I knew Todd for quite a while before I started working for him. So when I couldn't do collision work anymore, I was out of work for a couple months, and he had some needs in his office. He knew I needed something to do, so he kind enough to put me on, and we just started doing that and figuring it out. So
Nice.
office, and you know, I got better, and just been going at it from there. So yeah.
Nice.
So basically, Todd saved my life. Gave
That's
me
awesome.
when I couldn't do anything anymore. So yeah. So
Yeah.
and no regrets.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
up in my 40s. I'm like, I can't do collision work forever. So everything happens for a reason, and you know, um, it wasn't a planned exit, but kind of didn't have a choice. And then this came along, and yeah, we've capitalized on it. So yeah. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. So, you are the manager at Superior Fence and Rail in what
Correct.
city?
We're in Melbourne, Florida.
Melbourne, Florida. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
And
Just Space Coast area. So
nice.
uh,
Nice.
you know. Yeah. And we used to have a lot bigger area. He had sold off some areas down south. We had about 150-mile range in our range of the area where we were putting fences in. So
Oh
we've
wow, that's
shortened that
big.
back. We shortened that back quite a bit, and he still has some of that down there, but it's nothing that I have to worry about anymore, which helps. We talk about um, you know concentrating on what you're good at, and
Right.
not burning out so bad. So um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. We
yeah. So
service a like 65 or 75-mile radius, and that's it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
trust me, I know. Even at 65 miles, it's a long ride to and from.
Yeah, especially you got to go down for one customer service or whatever
Mhm.
it's just like, so that's eased it up quite a bit. But yeah, so we're basically Brevard County, a little bit of Indian River County.
Nice.
So yep, and we've grown quite a bit over the past 14 years, and I'm real happy. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. So, uh, you said you're in year 14, 15.
yeah.
Let's go back to the early years.
Mhm.
Coming from the collision world, I know you know, every yard is different and it's kind of the same concept. What were some of like the earlier challenges that you faced coming from doing body work and collision to go into defense?
So when I came into doing fencing, I went from doing collision work to working in the office,
Right.
because I still was not well enough to be outside whatever. So he had me in the office. So I was learning how to run the office. I had my own company back in the late 80s, early 90s, a cleaning company that we had up in New York. So, I was familiar with running a business a little bit, but you know, not somebody else's business.
Right.
So, but he's very involved in that at that point. So I was learning the office stuff. Um, you know, um, and then shop wise, so we were a lot smaller back then, maybe two crews, three crews, whatever, one shop guy, um, me and somebody else in the office, and Todd, and then a couple sales reps. So it was a little bit smaller back then. And good learning opportunity. So I'm learning the office, but then I got to go back into the shop, and I got to, obviously doing collision work. I could weld, so we're welding back there, welding gates, welding whatever. He had the router back there, so I'm learning how to do the router, learning how to do that, and then I started getting a little more involved. We were doing everything in the beginning, permits, everything like that, but in the
Right.
office. But I still wanted to learn the business. And you can't just sit there and wait for somebody to teach you the business. When I asked him about chain link, he printed out a paper from Hoover Fence with all the pieces and parts on it. He's
Yeah.
like, here, this is what chain link is, learn it, so had to learn that, So
Yeah.
I would go out in the field even on Saturdays, with the crews and just help them out a little bit, just learning. Just always, I've done pretty much every part of that. I've been in the shop and, welding, delivering material, I was sales rep, whatever. So every part of the business I've had the opportunity to do. I
Right.
think because I didn't come in as an installer, because I came in just as kind of like office help and kind of run the office. And, when we finally hired somebody very good to work in the office and to do that part of it, because obviously I wasn't good at it. Well, he's actually said, Kevin, you're not good at the office. But I think that's like a spreadsheet thing and all that. I didn't know spreadsheets and all that.
Right.
So finding what I'm good at and then starting to concentrate on that and learning, not waiting for somebody to tell me this is, figuring stuff out. So when you figure
Right.
stuff out and then you can figure out, well, I don't know why they're doing like this. This isn't, let's try it like that, and
Mhm.
actually thinking outside the box a little bit, so that's kind
Right.
of how that all kind of grew. Yeah.
That's awesome. So obviously you had to put yourself in a leadership spot whenever you moved from the office either to the shop or out in the field, like helping. What was one of the biggest lessons you learned in your like leadership journey, as in like doing that?
Um, Man, and that's in any field. It's just how you manage, how you thinking about uh the people that are working for you and who they are, and realizing, I came from New York, and I had helpers when I was doing painting and doing body work. It's just like I didn't put up with nothing,
Right.
either do your job or get out.
Yep.
um you don't always have those choices. You got to pick your battles
Hmm.
and see, okay, what do we need to do? What's the main goal here, and how can we accomplish this goal? And then everybody's personality is different, everybody has different strengths, and kind of like building off of those strengths instead of knocking down their weaknesses,
Right.
and
Right.
you know, yeah, just building people up and making everybody feel like, okay, this is a team, this is what we need to do, this is um just getting feedback from them. Just, I was pretty much in a leadership role pretty much from the beginning, because I had to start hiring people and hiring the shop people and managing that and all that. So, and teaching them how to weld and doing that. So, and then getting out in the field. So, um, yeah, it's just people management and again, picking your battles,
Nice.
and kind of just building on what they're doing good. So,
Right.
and
So
obviously if,
go
you
ahead.
have, there's limitations,
Yeah.
don't steal, don't, show up every day. But people, the biggest thing I learned, I guess, going back to your question, is people are who they are. So either they got those tendencies that make them be able to do what you need them to do. You're not going to be able to change them.
Right. Right.
So
Very true.
either you can find a place for them. They're gonna have a place here. You can't fit them into a place you need if they're not going to fit that place.
Very true.
You know.
Very
So
true.
that was a lesson we had to do. We had just not to go off script a little bit, but
Oh, go ahead.
people showing up late.
Yep.
You know, that's a simple thing. Just get up earlier, get there on time. Pretend you got to be at work an hour early, whatever that takes. However my mind works,
Yep.
they are not capable of that. We actually had a program where we would give people $100 bonus every week or every 2 weeks if they showed up every day on time. The people that were on time got the $100 bonus. The people that weren't on time originally, it didn't change them.
Right.
So realizing that you're not going to be able to change anybody for this, either the right person or they're not the right person. But if
Yeah.
they do have those qualities that do fit in with where they are most useful, same as my qualities where I'm useful, then we're going to put those people in those roles and we're going to help them excel at that. So that was the biggest leadership thing, is picking the right people for the right job, not trying to fit the wrong person into the job that they're not right for, and knowing that you could change certain behaviors, but you're not going to change who somebody is.
Very
If
true.
somebody's going to come into the shop and sit down and wait for to be told what to do, no, you need the person. Hey, what can I do now? What can I do? What, that's that person. You're not going to turn that person who's comfortable sitting there and not doing nothing until you walk up to them. You're not going to change them. So, get rid of
Very
them and
true.
move on. So
Very true.
Yeah.
So, with that said, like fast forward to like today, how many crews are you guys running currently?
6.
6. Nice. And does each crew do every single kind of fence, or do you have it kind of broken up into, this crew is stronger at vinyl and this crew is stronger at chain link?
So in my head, I want everybody to be able to do everything,
Right.
but that doesn't work.
Right.
So we do know which crews have those strengths, and we know, like, okay, this crew can't do wood. They're not getting wood, So again, I got to pick my battle. They'll get in 300 feet of vinyl every day,
Right.
or 400 feet of chain link every day, whatever. That's what they do. That's what they're good at. They're good at commercial jobs. They're good at whatever. So that's how we use them. I'm not going to give them a wood job. I'm not going to, I just don't want to pick that battle right now. I got other guys who could do wood,
Yeah.
So,
True.
It's just, yeah. What
So
I want and what reality is again, so, we have to make that fit. I would like to be able to do everything. So, so yeah.
So as you were scaling up to your like 6 crews,
Yep.
were you like originally just assigning whatever crew had whatever job as you were going?
So originally we were even, like, after the storms and everything else back in whenever that was, at one point we had 8 crews,
Yeah.
So scheduling would be based on, and we've learned a lot about scheduling also. So right now we're scheduling 3 weeks ahead, because we know what every crew could do, what they're capable of. So we'll schedule them Monday to Thursday, and and this way we got material, everything's taken care of, and we don't have to worry about scheduling last second.
Nice.
So it's a process. It's never ending, like, these crews are, we're picking out the ones that are going to give us the best result on that particular job. That's the one that they're going to. And, some crews are subs and some crews are in-house.
Right.
So, in-house is going to be treated a little bit different than a sub, because of what they're capable of doing and where they could fit into the business, as far as, we need these small jobs done too. We need these repairs done. We need this done, so, pretty flexible on who's doing what, but I'm not afraid to just give people what they're good at either. So, and I work with my office manager, really well, as far as what makes the most sense for us to get the footage in the ground and to get the customers happy,
Yeah.
I don't want to fight stuff that I don't need to fight.
Absolutely not. So I saw a picture today that you guys were digging and setting vinyl. How would that go?
Oh God. Yeah. I started I knew that I was going to go down a wrong road, so I took that off. But, so my sales reps will still, obviously I'm pushing, driving, that all came from me, and I'm kind of driving that. My problem is, I'm always trying to figure out, and this is what gets me into the other part of the show, is I'm always trying to figure out a different way, a better way, how to do stuff. It's just I'm stuck in, is there a better way, a more efficient way to do this? So now you have installers, this is how they've been doing it for 20 years. This is how they've been doing it for whatever. They're not changed, they don't want to change, and they give a lot of resistance, and then you change them, you finally get them to doing this, like, back when, we were doing augers and beavers and stuff like that, like trying to get them to use a beaver instead of sitting there hand digging at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at 100-degree temperature, get all the holes dug at by 9 o'clock, but there was resistance there. Okay, so we got them to that point, and now we want to go to driving. no, I want to use the beaver.
Right.
It's just like, it's always like that little bit of resistance. So, again, listening to people, seeing what affects them, how do they think, what their levels are. It's not that they're bad because they don't want to make these changes, but when they go to a job, their thought process is this step, this step, this step.
Mhm.
So for us to go to change all that, so, and then customers too. So we still offer a dig or drive. you
Yep.
know
Same.
some customers are so set on, we're not going to walk away from a job just because we got to dig and set it.
Yep. True.
Obviously,
True.
and the installers don't mind doing that, but what a mess that was. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, man.
Just
Trust me.
digging.
I was digging and
Just a-
setting some aluminum in a playground today that already had rubber mulch
Oh,
poured
gosh.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So of course I had to scoop up all the dirt and put it in a wheelbarrow and haul it off because there was already rubber mulch down.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, trust me. We do
And the
the
whole
same
time you're
thing.
thinking, this would look so much nicer and be so much easier if we did this. It's just like,
Yeah, man. That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time because like no matter how careful we were with the dirt, like after we left, there was still dirt on top of the like rubber mulch. Not much, but like, like you can't help it whenever you're filling the hole back in. So I was like, man, had we drove this, there would have been no dirt anywhere. But it is what it is. Like you said, we're not going to turn down a job.
we give people an option.
Yeah.
And we explain the benefits and whatnot of each process. And some people are just stuck in their head how they want something. And there was other stuff I didn't want to get into everything else we could have did at the job, as far as making sure the dirt's going on top of something that we could haul it away. But then where are we hauling away to? And then but then just walking around in this wet, the ground's got half-inch of water on it, like it's just a mess no matter what you do. So
yeah.
But yeah, there's other stuff you could do, but yeah, it's just
It is what it is, man. I felt your pain whenever I was on lunch and I saw that. I was like, oh,
I was just walking around. I'm like, I know it doesn't matter what they do. I'm going to get a call from these people, even though we gave them the option. We could do it this way. I'm already preparing. I sent it to the shop. I'm like, listen, we get a call from so-and-so. This is why. And I sent them the video, so it's always a work in progress. I'm not afraid of that. So. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey, man, we're going to run to a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay.
Be here.
National Metal Industries, a family-owned business for 70-plus years, has grown to be recognized for their ability to deliver on not just privacy slats for fence, but all types of fence products. National Metal Industries has all the hardware and tools to get the fence professional in and out of their job with the most ease possible. You can count on National Metal Industries for the most convenient resources in fence products. Visit nmifence.com for more information. As we like to say, you can always pick it right at National. J.C. Gury Signs and Decals has been a trusted name in the sign industry since 1949, with all manufacturing done in-house from start to finish right here in the USA. With 75 years in outdoor signage and roots dating back to the 1920s, J.C. Gury specializes in durable, high-quality signs and decals. In-house screen printing since the 1970s ensures every product meets the highest standards. Visit jcgury.com for more information. Every aluminum sign includes Mylar lamination at no extra cost, extending product life in tough outdoor conditions. For unmatched quality and longevity, visit jcgury.com. Struggling with a gate that drags on your sloped yard? Orlando Hinge Company has the solution, the Swan Hinge. Unlike standard hinges, the Swan Hinge lets double drive gates swing open smoothly up inclines, eliminating dragging and binding. Easy to install on vinyl, aluminum, wood, and chain link gates. It's built for durability and made to withstand the elements. And when your customer hears that, yes, their gates can work on a slope, you just made the sale. The Swan Hinge, designed by fencers for fencers. Made in the USA, lifetime warranty. Order today at swanhinge.com or email info@orlandohingecompany.com. The Swan Hinge, because every gate deserves to open smoothly.
All right, guys, we are back. And once again, I'm going to run through those again, just in case you guys all forgot. But guys, if you're looking for a change in your business or the, like whether it be the business or the, like the installation side, go check out Mr. Fence Academy at www.mrfenceacademy.com. Guys, if you're looking for privacy slats for chain link materials, vinyl, aluminum, ornamental iron, go check out National Metal Industries at www.nmifence.com. If you're still in the market for a fence sign, guys, go check out JC Gury at www.jcgury.com. And once again, guys, if you're still struggling with an uphill swing gate, go check out www.swanhinge.com. And luckily, we're about to talk about the Swan Hinge with the man himself who made it. So with that said, Kevin, we all know the reason, the problem you were trying to solve with the like Swan Hinge, to reduce dragging gates uphill, picking them up, making some flap that flips up and you got to hold it with a drop rod, or having nasty cuts at the bottom. How many different prototypes, I'm just super curious about, were made until you finally stuck with the one?
5 or 6.
5 or 6? That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Well, prototypes, we've been using this since, 2018 for ourselves.
Right.
So, and coming out and, okay, this is working. Again, being out there in the field, learning what's going on, and okay, this works, this doesn't work, making this change, and then having a couple people that, come over to me and say, hey, why don't you do this? Like just something simple that I didn't think about, because you get so focused on this, you really want to, and I think that every day. I'm like, I need to change this. Do I need to do something? Can I make it better? Can I, I'm always thinking, and again, that's my mind, is, and then so I'm always trying to think, but it's working. So I don't want to really mess with it. I'm making different things now, but I don't really want to mess with what's working.
Yep.
So keep in mind, so when I say 5 or 6, I started out with 2 blocks of wood.
Yep.
Okay. And just that's what we put on this guy's fence to make the gate work, like changing geometry with a couple blocks of wood. That's where we started. And then I was just like, oh, we could do this, and so
I kind of jumped the gun. Like for those of you guys watching who don't know, Kevin, can you explain to us what the Swan Hinge is?
Okay, Swan Hinge is it's a hinge set. We have some that it comes with a bottom and top hinge. The top hinge is like a standard hinge, and the bottom hinge will allow the gate to lift as it opens. So when you got a slope on the gate, or the ground goes up inside or outside, I've had people have pools, they have to open up the gate out and they can't because the ground, you can put this hinge on, and everything has limitations. We have our standard products and stuff, but we could get around those limits. I've done a lot of custom stuff for people that not on the website, but have special situations, and we'll build them something special. So it just allows the gate to lift as it opens, same as typically on a double drive gate. It's on an angle like this, and you got to get this top gate to open. It'll just lift the gate as it opens. Again, limitations to anything, but it works. The goal was simple. The early ones what you asked me about were a little more complicated. People had to take them apart a little bit, put them back together, depending on what they were doing. My guys couldn't do it. I could stand in my office and show them how to do it in the office. They got in the field and they didn't do it right.
Right.
So it's just like, I wanted something. There's a lot more complicated ways you could do this, and a lot more expensive ways you could do this. I wanted something simple that's easy to build, easy to install, because they install the same as a normal hinge, with some changes a little bit here depending on what your situation is. Easy to install, and so that they're not too expensive, where they're cheaper than digging out a yard, to do that. So my goal was simple, where anybody could do it, and and it's repeatable. So
Absolutely is. Absolutely is.
Yeah.
So here recently, you've had a lot of traffic coming your way. I've been seeing, man. I'm loving all the traffic that's coming your way.
Yeah, a bunch up by you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Lots. I mean, I've seen.
but yeah, we're all over the country. So what happened was we were doing this for ourselves for years, and me and Todd, my boss, said, um, just looked at each other and was just like, hey, should we try to do something with this? For a bunch of different reasons. You know, I'm like, yeah, maybe we should. So we both went in together. So I'm partners with him in the Swan Hinge company. Um, just because we went in on the patent together. And so we got the patent. All right, what are we going to do next, and how are we going to offer it? And so that's kind of where all that happened. My main thing was just driving around gates.
Right,
Like the gates don't work. The gates, you could tell this gate doesn't work. You
right.
know, just like so, it's just a easy. Anybody could use it. And I love people having. They send me a lot of success stories. So um, that means more to me than anything else that we're doing. So
Yeah,
whatever we're doing for the fence company and everything else, when people send me videos, hey, thanks, and I got a couple today. You have this, you have this. Oh, that was amazing. I just that it really makes my day. So
that's
um,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Well,
So,
for those of you who have videos who have not sent them to Mr. Kevin, where can they send you some videos?
they could just text me
Okay.
on my phone number.
Yep.
I can give that out. It's
Yeah. Right. Right.
321-576-4038. You can email me at kevin@orlandohingecompanY.com. Put them on Facebook and tag me.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I just like to hear everybody being successful. But I did have one failure, so I want to be straight up with everybody.
Yeah.
The guy, I sold him to this guy. I think it was up in Virginia or where he was, and he had him. And about a week later, he says, "Oh, I think the hinge failed." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what happened?" Send me a picture. Send me a picture. Let me know what happened, because number one, I want to make sure it doesn't happen again,
Yep.
and number two, what can we do to make it right?
Right.
And then he sends it back to me. Then when he gets there to this job, he sends me a picture. I don't think it failed. I think a bear tried to get into the garbage and bent. so so the bear tried to get in through the gate and was jumping up and down on the gate and bent the hinge. So
Ah.
um, so we turned around and we sent him a heavy duty steel hinge set up, and he put that on there. And now bear's not going to break that one. A bear will break the gate before he breaks that hinge. So
Yeah.
yeah,
True. True.
yeah. So
True,
that
man.
was
We deal with bears here too. It's
yeah,
wild because we're so
yeah.
close to the beach and people think that we don't have bears, but
Oh yeah,
lots of bears out here, lots of black bears, and
yeah.
they climb all over fences, man.
Yeah, so that was but we stand behind everything, so whatever, we've had people change their mind a couple here and there for whatever reason. And I'll send money back with shipping and everything. So there's no risk.
Yeah.
It's not a risk. It's not a, you know, you need to try it, that's all.
Yeah, I would.
Um,
I would personally highly recommend trying it if you need to try it.
yeah.
It solves a lot of problems easily. It makes your customers happy, and I gotta say, man, seeing those customers' faces when you first show them how it like
Mhm.
lifts up, it's pretty cool
Yeah.
because most 99% of the time their jaw is dropped. Like,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah. So some people it's a piece of hardware. To me, it's a sales tool.
Yep.
And we've talked about that before. Like, when my salesmen go out there, and they've got this situation, most companies are out there being like, no, we can't do that, or whatever, the dog's going to get out, or we'll put a 12-foot wide single gate up, or whatever, that, they can't open and close because it's so heavy. So
Yep.
it's a sales tool. So if you could go out there, take care of that problem for this customer, you sold the job. You just adding value. Anything you could do to add value, and this is one of those things. It's not that expensive, you know, let them pay for it. They're more than willing to pay for it, so
Yeah.
let them pay for it, put it on, their gate works, they're happy, you got another customer, and they're gonna recommend you somebody else because you solved their problem. So for me and
Absolutely.
my sales reps, yeah, it's just another sales tool in their bucket. So
That's awesome. So I
yeah.
think down here, I think Josh has added it to his upgrade list
Yeah.
for people to click because Josh's motto is people love clicking buttons.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that's been like pretty cool. I think we've maybe sold a couple jobs where we're gonna need to like get some
Yeah.
up in the pipeline coming up. But that's been really cool to see, especially with a lot of these new builds being built on swamps and the houses having to be built up.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so
And yeah, I'm not pushing something somebody doesn't need or want. Like
right,
if you want it, use it. If you don't, if you have no solution, that's great. So there's more than
absolutely,
one way to solve a problem, but this is just an easy thing that we came up with. That's not that expensive, and it's just easy, and my guys could do it without any problems. So, yeah. So
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So you so you said earlier that that you're not gonna try to fix something that's not broken. What's your vision for the Orlando Hinge Company moving forward?
Um. So I was trying to there's so many different things that people do differently. That the standard situation doesn't work. So, but each one of those things has to be built a little bit different depending on what they're doing.
Right.
So, try to let people know that we're doing some more custom stuff. I've had a bunch of people doing farm gates, on square posts, on round posts. So I'm mixing and matching some stuff and um, you know, putting square hookups on the post side and a round hookup on the gate side, and how wide are the gates and how much lift you need. So, we're working all that to just make sure that if somebody has a gate that has to open that way, that we're pretty much able to solve that problem for them.
Right, right.
Um,
So
uh,
so basically you're saying more customization to what I was.
I'm trying to set the shop up so it's a little easier for us to
Yep,
do. Now we build everything in house, so it's not like
right,
anything's coming from China or anything like that. So we're pretty flexible as far as what people need. We could change it up. It's not wholesale changes in what we're doing to make something with a few different parts.
right,
The parts are shaped differently, but it's the same process of what we're doing, and we're all jigged out to do that. So if somebody has a situation like that, it does get into some situations where people have talked about putting gate operators on them and stuff. So they have to understand that when you put these hinges on, it doesn't want to make them self-close a little bit.
mhm,
We've used them on pool situations where there's been heavy winds, and these ones will self-close and always pass that. So it does get tricky when you put an operator on there, because some operators are set up for that. Some people aren't. Some operators are not set up for that. So they have to be careful of that. So yeah, we're available for that. For anything custom that people need. Um, I think so. Matt up by you, he was doing Postmaster with square um, gate frames, like 1.5 or
mhm,
2-inch gate frames.
yep,
So I made a couple of different. I didn't put them on the site yet, but I made a couple different hinges with a different side on the post side that will hook up to the Postmaster,
mhm,
and then a smaller, like a 2x2 bracket on the gate side, so it was screwed to his gate frame, no problem. So
nice,
just because I had a couple issues with not issues, but a couple people build in their gates like that, a little
right,
different than how we build a gate. So we've made those adjustments just to I just want kind of fine tune what people's needs are. I don't want to go out too big and do too many different things, because then
mhm,
when we lost the
mhm,
concentration on what we're doing, we want to
right,
make sure we're doing that the best.
right.
So and be able to respond to everybody. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, man. Well, I'm loving all of the love that you are receiving on all of the
Yeah.
fence pages for it, and it's been like freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Um, last question before we get into closing thoughts. How are you balancing your role in management with also building your product brand?
Um, yeah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot of different stuff going on, because usually, with the business, I have a lot of different things that I'm thinking about at the same time, and then um, so one of the big things that have helped me, and listening to like Mark out there in Idaho, wherever he is, and like people
Wyoming.
being so busy and overwhelmed, and yeah, so trying to I've been able to delegate a little bit of what I was doing at the fence company, stuff
Good.
that somebody else could do or I could let them do, even if it's not perfect the way I would do it. I have to be
Right.
accepting of how they're doing it. So, like I had a crew of two that I had to go out to the jobs every morning and do walkthroughs and do stuff like that because they weren't getting done like days before, whatever. Meet with the customers. There was some language stuff going on. Um, so I was able to hire somebody to be able to do that in the morning, do a little more running that I was doing, and to be
Mhm.
able to go out and find pins and do walkthroughs with customers and make sure and handle this crew or two that I'm not tied down to every morning.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff that was very overwhelming. One thing, you can't try to change everything at once and get from here to here, but the little changes sometimes make a big difference and then give you an opportunity to then make the other change that you wouldn't change unless you made this little change first. So just by letting him go out there in the morning and doing these walkthroughs, that frees up my time on that. And now I can do something else. And then I have someone in the office that's honestly like I still haven't let go of the hinges, so I still build every hinge, Like I don't weld them. Like I have two welders in the shop, we're busy, but I don't want one to go out not right.
Right.
So that's something else that I have to, you know, some people listening on here yell at me about, but I still need to make sure everything is goes out. I don't want anybody taking one and having a problem with it and being like, oh, this is, whatever. So, but I have done other things as far as everything else is done, like the welders know what they're doing, the powder coaters. I have somebody building bags for me because it gets the standard hinge, gets the nuts and bolts and everything. They build that. All I gotta do is put the hinge together, put it in the bag, and so just that saved me, you know, m- many hours of
Right.
what else I was doing, on weekends or whatever, getting the stuff together. So just learning to be able to delegate and use myself for where I'm needed and best used. That's big. So
That's awesome.
little changes, yeah. So it's a lot, but if when you I don't I feel like I've gotten a lot of my crews in a way where I don't have to hold hand them, hold their hands
Right.
nonstop. So, you know, if like today I took a hour and a half and I went out and went to I think three different job sites and I went to pick up a couple of things at the store. So just going to those three jobs today, I didn't have to go to all six or whatever. So, but I don't have to be there all the time. I don't, they're sending pictures, they're doing this, we'll get good contact with the customers. So, that's freed me up too. As long as I realize I don't have to do everything, then
Right.
that helps me be able to let people who can do those things, and I can be more useful. So, but yeah, it's
Awesome.
always a work in progress, Billy.
That's awesome.
So it's like
Love
you
to
would
hear
what you're doing and then getting on here, right? It's just
it.
like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what I'm
Trust
talking
me. I
about,
know, man. I get it. I
you
get it.
you know.
Um,
It,
so with that said, man, you got any closing thoughts for us?
um, yeah, I enjoyed being on here. I think this is one of those things that um, kind of brings kind of like the community together.
Yep.
You had a question on there as far as the difference between being part of, Superior Fence or being like an individual company or whatever, you
Hmm.
know, and or if we started on our own, like we kind of Superior Fence was licenses before like the franchise stuff, but we still had nine superiors in Florida that they could lean on each other and
Yeah.
for whatever reason, even
Absolutely.
before the franchise happened. But when you start out as individual, um, you're on your own, right? And then part of what
Mhm.
we talk about at the academy and stuff is, having that tribe, having those people to lean on, stuff like that. So the difference is like you start up on your own, you have to build all that stuff and get all the stuff that you need to be able to be independent, but to have all those things that you need or people that you could be there for and just kind of that sharing kind of thing. When I first got into the business, none of these other fence companies around here, they weren't, you know, there was no love between any of them. It was just like
Right.
it was all cutthroat, it was all this, nobody's helping each other out. I've seen huge changes in the companies around me. Like I literally will sell to other fence companies around my hinges,
Yeah.
um, and talk them through stuff and whatever, like if they're doing good, we're doing good. Like everybody's doing good. Like we don't have to. you don't have to lose for me to win kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing with the franchise is all those, if you use it all that stuff is kind of built into it, you know, that tribe and that support and stuff like that. Whereas if you go out as individual, you have to kind of build that up yourself. But you know, a lot of these companies that are individual companies still go into these other programs, whether it's, you know, AFA or whatever, you know, or the academy, or, you know, they're still looking for support
Mm.
outside of their own little business. It
Yeah.
that makes them better. You know, there's a lot of guys that don't do that, but if they could do that and have that, you know, to bounce all everything off of and stuff, I
Yeah.
think that's huge. So that was a big difference because, like I said, when I first started, it wasn't like that. You know, it was just
No.
like, you know, now I go into the store, I can talk to any of the fence guys. They come into our office, you know, we're supportive of each other, you know, and you know, it builds everybody up, you know. Um,
Absolutely does. Absolutely
so
does, man.
so I think that's huge. Yeah. So we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing and feedback. Um, the biggest thing about my job is we make decisions all day long, right? So how do we make those decisions is information. So we need information. Where are we getting
Mhm.
that information from everybody that we're dealing with during the day, whether it's a supplier, whether it's the office, whether it's the installers, customers, we're getting information, so we're making those changes that need to be made. So being able to make those decisions is critical on getting accurate information. So one of the things with the cruises, and I I, I have meetings with them all the time, as far as trying to have the right atmosphere where they're comfortable coming and is talking. I'm not saying they always are, but comfortable talking about situations so we can make good decisions. You know,
Yep.
nobody's getting blamed for this and blamed for that. Dude, you did this, and you know, I don't have to beat them down to make myself feel big or anything like that. And when I hear it, we don't accept that. You know,
Right.
heard a little bit this morning, like, oh, those whatever, they clean off my truck. No, 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 we're not talking like that. You know, we're all working together. You know,
Yep.
so what are we going to do to fix whatever's going on here without putting each other down and making everybody feel bad? So getting accurate information, um, and making sure that everybody understands that that's what we're about. We're not about, you know, beating everybody up, you know. So
Yeah.
get information from my customers from Swan Hinge, you know, what they need, what's working, what's not working. You know, had a local guy got a chain link one for me, and chain link's tricky because it's on a round post, and
Mm.
you know, I kind of gave them a heads up before they did it, like make sure you put screws in the post, make whatever you do, make sure that post doesn't spin. You know, especially, you know, you put hinges and gates on, you got to open up a round
Yeah.
post, and sometimes it'll spin. And they had an issue, and the post was loose, and you know, but you know, we took care of that. But just that good information, all right, everything's working, but this post needs to be reconcreted or whatever. So
Yeah.
um yeah, that's the part that I like, is being able to take that information and make decisions, and then going on to the next one, you know, and little battles, you know, small little wins every day, you know,
Yeah.
every day. So um
Snowball effect, right?
yeah, you got it, because you can't get
Yeah.
to the next one unless you take care of this one.
Yep.
You're not going to get out here because you got to take care of all this stuff first. But if you take care of this stuff, you're going to get out here.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you're done. It just means it gives you an opportunity to get to the next one, you know?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
turn those problems, you know, we turn those problems into opportunities. So that's kind of what we're doing. So
That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
So I
Well, hey,
appreciate you
man.
being on here, and you know, I enjoy
Absolutely.
listening to this stuff because it really ties everybody together. So, you know,
Absolutely.
who's ever into it. So it means a lot, you know.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man,
So
it means a lot for me for you to not only come on the show, but to like sponsor the show and to help it,
yeah,
like happen, like week in and week out.
yeah,
So thank you so very much for like coming on the show.
yeah,
Like I hope you have all of the sales in the world for this year. You guys break records, all of that.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's meeting my goals. I set a goal from
yeah,
last year to this year, and it's meeting my goals, you know, so I'm pretty happy about that. I did have one more thing to say,
yeah.
um, as far as wins for the week. Um, Not a win for this week, a win for next week. It's gonna be, let me get this right because I know she's probably listening. 36-year anniversary next Tuesday.
Huge win.
So I wanted to get this live on here, and so anyway, so yep. So that's a big win for me, and couldn't do any of this without her, and you know that. So
Congrats to you on that,
Yeah.
man. Seriously,
Thank you.
congrats to you on your anniversary. Congrats to you on all your success with the LA Hinge Company and with
Thank you.
Exterior Fence and Rail.
Thank you. I
Hands
appreciate your
down,
support and giving good shout
absolutely.
outs and stuff. So yeah. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, man, it was great talking to you.
Yeah.
You have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday night, and I'm sure
Yep.
I'll be seeing you here soon. Okay.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Bye, guys.
All right, guys. All right. Awesome freaking interview, guys. I loved it. You guys drop a comment. Let me know what you think, guys. And once again, go check out Swan Hinge at www.swanhinge.com. Y'all stick around. Stay tuned for next week. I got Mr. Mark Olson on. Kevin mentioned him earlier. I'm super excited about this. So y'all stay tuned. Next week's going to be awesome as well. Just as awesome as this show was. And you guys go check it out on Spotify, Apple Music. Oh man, I'm having a brain fart on all the podcast platforms. There we go. That works. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week, guys. Go put some fence in the ground, collect some checks, be safe, stay hydrated. I'll see y'all next week.